So this is going to be the start of a Form Analysis 101 series. The first subject that we're going to cover here, and it's going to come in three parts, is from a conversation I had with one of the punters on our WhatsApp group for free race ratings. Just let me go back into it. This conversation I had with Cal made me think about something I mentioned there regarding different techniques that I use to identify whether a race is a potential good form race to do, a good betting race, and stuff like that. And those three factors, which I want to cover one by one in these initial three videos, are number one, the importance of being able to look at long shots in a race. That's one angle where we can start. The depth of a black book is the second angle, and identifying runners out of the black book. And the third angle that can save you a lot of time identifying races is also by finding races where there's a short price favourite, preferably 6-4, 2.50 or shorter, occupying at least 40% of the market, which is 2.50, and then identify a true value rating about it firstly. And knowing the depth of the quality of race that you're looking at and what generally it takes to win a race of that quality, you can quickly ascertain whether there's going to be value in looking deeper into that race to oppose that favourite. It might be priced up at 2.50 and you think it's a 5.0 chance in the race and should only occupy 20% of the market. There's a 20% variance from that 40 to 20 and a good reason to start investigating other runners in the race as to, is there something here that I can find to get a beat? Anyway, back to the first option, and that's concentrating on long shot runners. The three races I'm going to use as an example here are for races 3, 4 and 5 at Wyong tomorrow on Thursday. Let's go back to race 3. In race 3, if we just go and pull up the analysis from race 3, 2, 5 and 6 are three runners that from a class level we had rated below $8. People who have watched a lot of my videos knowing that 8.00 is par, 4.00 is 2 lengths above par, 2.00 is 4 lengths above par. So that means that 3.00 is 3 lengths above par, and it means that 6.00 is 1 length above par. Now, knowing that, which is important, and as I said, people who've watched a lot of my videos already know how I do that. So the two I've got rated at 3.50, or basically 2.5 lengths above par, with a potential to be better than that by the less than sign. So if we go and just take a quick look at race 3, the first thing we need to do when we're using this technique is look through the runners of the race, Wyong race 3, and concentrate only on the runners that are $10 or larger to start with. Because we know from doing so many of these Wyong 1350 metre maidens, generally what type of performance it takes to win a race like this. And we've also got a 2.25 favourite, Black Tiara, which has been tried and tested a few times. Obviously isn't that far above the par, and there might be reason to find to oppose it. And that's going to come in generally the shape of lightly raced improvers that are well bred. The two physicists, $10, off the back of that trial third at Hawkesbury that I watched, which made me sit up and take notice. And then the breeding of it by So You Think out of a well-bred Pierrot mare. I go deeper into that in the preview of the race. That's how I've got to a price of 3.50. Off the back of that trial, the scope for improvement being out of a Pierrot mare by So You Think, the way it finished it off, and that tells me at 2.5 lengths above par, that's generally a level that's going to be super competitive in a race like this, right? Coastal Groove, the 5, which I had at 5.50, which is 1.75 lengths above par. Okay, so from that basis, if we go and have a look at Coastal Groove, once again, well bred by Deep Field out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. Nathan Doyle trains, come out and won this trial on the Beaumont track, was pushed out to do so, put a big margin to the rest. How much scope has it got off the back of that? Tongue tie first time, visor first time, draws a 1 alley. A lot of positives about something that's going to be 23.0, 4.6. I've rated at 1.75 lengths above par, with a question mark, because I'm not sure how much, or to the eye, the trial win only looked above average. To the margins, it looked clearly above average. Okay, all right. Then the 6, Oakfield Hawk, by Dundeel out of a Danewin mare. Gets blinkers first time. Chris Lees, Christian Reef, astute combination. 4th of 9, beaten a wide margin in a trial at Gosford, but the form stacks up out of the trial through 5th, 6th and 7th. So to identify those 3 runners, which have probably taken me 5 minutes at form on each, maximum, right? And in the race, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that are above $10. So to look at those 9 first, I've identified those 3 that potentially look like they're overs. And that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but it doesn't, because I know how many lengths above par I've got these horses, and generally what it takes to win a race like this. So the simple fact that the 2.250 favourite is a tried and tested horse with not a lot of scope, and these horses have got scope for more, and even if I'm right with one of the 3 of them, I'm going to go close to jagging a result in the race. Now, that's about betting overs consistently. There's no way physicists should be $10. It probably should be $6 in a strong version of this race, $4.80 in a moderate version of this race. Okay? Coastal Groove really should be $8.50, $10 around that sort of mark. Maybe 10, 11 at the worst. Oakfield Hawk, slightly shorter. The same price, 8.5 to 10, around that sort of mark. So we're getting overs about all 3. When you're getting overs about all 3 that are realistic winning chances for one reason or another, even if the merit's well hidden, long term by playing those angles, you're going to walk out winning. It's about understanding, one, the depth of, when you use this method as a long shot value betting method and it works, 1, to know the depth of the race, 2, to find a reason to oppose the favourite, especially when it's very short, that makes sense, 3, the true merit of all the runners over 10 to 1 or $10. By doing that, you can quickly go through a race and find value angles that potentially have a lot of scope. The tools you're going to need Racing Post Australia, obviously. You're going to need the Australian Stud Book. You're going to need Racing New South Wales to watch video replays if you're doing New South Wales, or racing.com if you're doing Victoria, or SA Racing if you're doing South Australia. But the bottom line is they're the tools you're going to need, right? Just for starters, there's more. But in this video, that's all you need. So, as I said, I've went through and I've done Wyong races 3. On this sheet, Wyong race 3, 2.5 above par. Wyong race 4. Now, this is the interesting thing about Wyong race 4. I've only had to assess one horse. Well, I've assessed them all, but there's only one above the $10 mark in Wyong. Why have I posed the favourite firstly? The 3. Lightly raced by Hellbent, out of a fast net rock mare, has scope for more. Trial winner, 3rd on debut, beaten 2 in a similar kind of race. Yes, it may be 2 to 3 lengths above par. I'm not prepared to call that without going back and looking at the trials. But from that basis, it's pretty well placed. So you want to have good reasoning to be opposing it. Drunken Sailor, this is a pretty deep race too, start to finish. Drunken Sailor, rated 4.00, 2 lengths above par, potentially more. Now, if we go back and have a quick look at Drunken Sailor, in race 4, debut runner, one of Rachel King's only 2 rides for the day, mind you, by Ocean Park out of a Group 2 winning Captain Rio mare from New Zealand. This trial 3rd to Nightingale and Alpha Vita, very good, good margin to 4th, smart horses 1st, 2nd and 4th home. So that sort of franks the form of that trial to suggest earmuffs pre-race first time only and has been gelded. Yes, wide gate, but Rachel King's prepared to come and stay on at the $23 versus the favourite potentially being 2 to 3 lengths above par, or $4 to $3. that $23 is starting to look like a decent price. So even if I'm half wrong there and it's a $10 chance, I'm still getting 23 about something that should be 10.0. Okay, all right. Then race 5 quickly. There's 3 horses here, and it's a pretty deep race. These are runners all over $10. In race 5, they are the 3, 4, 5, 9, and 12. 3, 16, 4, 46, 5, was it? Yeah, 5, Invader Prince 14.0, 9, He's My Warrior 27, and 12, Monfiducia 27. Okay, we found 3 there, and that's the 3 rated. 3.20, close to 3 lengths above par, about 2.8 lengths above par. 3.50, 2.5 lengths above par. And 3.50 as well. DWB, to remind me it's deceivingly well bred, well weighted. Okay, I'll use short acronym or short punctuations like that after a horse sometimes for important factors. But anyway, so those 3, Nvidia Prince at 13.0, rated 3.2 or less. Right, this isn't a market set to 100%. This is the par levels for the class ratings. Then I'll take that, add up the percentages, and recalculate it to a market to 100% for framing a market. But that's another subject that I'll cover in another video. So that's 3 races there where it gives you an idea of how to identify horses and use a technique by starting with long shots in a race. Creates great value betting angles if you're consistent with it and you do your form properly and you use good reasoning. It can be a good shortcut tool to identify potential good betting races from a value perspective. That's Form Analysis 101. In the next one, I'll do the black book, how to use the black book, or how to formulate a black book in association to using it as a shortcut tool and a starting point for identifying races, and then I'll do taking on favourites. All right, cool. That's video 1. Thanks.